Fernando Torres is one of the most prolific Spanish strikers in the history of the nation, having played a key role in one of the best national teams of all time. He was also a world star in his days with Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, impressing with his flair, skill, and finishing in front of goal. However, Torres lost his skill somewhere along the way. So, what happened to the blonde beast? It all starts way back in the past. Young Fernando Torres was born in Madrid on the 20th of March, 1984. Just like all the kids in the neighborhood, all Fernando wanted to do the whole day was to play football. It didn't matter if it was in the street or in a playground. The only thing that mattered to him was the ball. Having been raised in Madrid, he was the Atletico Madrid fan since his earliest days. He has his grandfather to thank for this one. His granddad actually didn't like football very much, but he was an avid Atletico Madrid fan. Torres kicked off his career by joining the local club, Parque 84, at just 5 years of age. His mom would take him to train daily because his father, Jose Torres, had to work throughout the day. However, Torres' story isn't one of the rags to riches. Instead, his family was always in the middle class, able to afford normal life for his son, even outside of football. Fernando Torres followed his brother's footsteps at first. He started playing as a goalkeeper. However, 2 years later, he moved to another local club where he became a striker in the indoor team, and the rest is history. But not that quick. Torres started playing 11-a-side football when he turned 10. The team's name was Rayo 13, and 3 of their players earned a tryout with Atletico Madrid when the season was over. Fernando and his grandfather knew that and made the most out of the opportunity. Torres scored 55 goals, more than enough for a trial with Los Colchones. The trial went better than anyone expected, as Fernando left the coaches stunned with his footballing skill, thus officially joining Atletico's youth in 1995. Torres started training in Atletico Madrid's academy regularly, but the real breakthrough arrived 3 years after joining Atleti in 1998. Atletico Madrid participated in a Nike Cup, a competition traditionally organized for the world's best youngsters under the age of 15. Torres led Atletico actually won the tournament, and the striker was named the best player in Europe for his age category afterward. It didn't take long, just a year after the Nike Cup, for Atletico to sign Fernando Torres with a professional contract, even though Torres started out with the reserves team due to his young age. It only took him 2 years to make a professional debut with Atletico. The date was May 27, 2001, and Atletico was playing Leganes. Garcia Cantarero became the caretaking manager just recently because Marcos Alonso was sacked in April. Coming from Atletico Madrid B, Cantarero knew about Torres' quality and gave him an opportunity to shine right away. Even though Atletico was fighting for La Liga promotion, it didn't stop Cantarero from giving Torres a chance, and the striker duly delivered by scoring his debut goal for the club in only his second appearance against Albacete, just a week after he made his debut against Leganes. In the end, Atleti failed to qualify for La Liga, but it proved to be a blessing in disguise later on. Staying in the second division meant that Atletico had smaller payrolls to deliver. It also meant that the youngsters were receiving more chances, including Fernando Torres, who made 36 appearances in the 2001-02 season. It wasn't a great season scoring-wise, but it was the best thing that ever happened to El Niño because he gained a ton of experience playing in rough and tumbling second-division pitches. And then, Fernando Torres started his path to stardom. First season in La Liga saw Torres score 13 goals in 29 appearances, helping his team to stay in the first division, 4 points above the relegation zone. At the time, Fernando was just 19, having had a full La Liga season under his belt. It didn't take long for Europe to take notice. Roman Abramovich, the ambitious Chelsea's new owner, immediately sent the $33 million bid for the striker. It was an obscene amount of money for a 19-year-old at the time, but Atletico bravely rejected. This would pay off for Atletico in more ways than one. The next season, 2003-04, already made himself a household name, finishing as the league's third-best scorer with 19 goals to his name. It was obvious then that Fernando Torres would be a gem and a world-class striker in the years to come. Unfortunately, Torres' progress wasn't followed by Atletico Madrid. The striker went on to have 2 20-plus goal seasons, but Atletico constantly finished around the mid-table, seemingly unable to go forward no matter what they did. And then, on July 2, 2007, it happened. Fernando Torres joined Liverpool. Los Colchones received $28 million for their gem striker, which left them happy with the output they gained. On the other hand, El Niño was able to move forward with his career, aiming at the highest of highs with Liverpool. He was joining the Champions League winner as Liverpool took the title in the 2006-07 season, just before he joined the club. However, he was warmly welcomed there, with Steven Gerrard acting like his bigger brother from the start. Torres wasted no time. He impressed in his first season, even winning the Player of the Month award in January of 2008. Not only that, but Torres made history by becoming only the second ever Liverpool player to score 2 successive hat-tricks for the Reds, doing so in March of 2008. Fernando Torres ended his first season at Liverpool by scoring 24 goals in the Premier League and 33 in all competition for the club. It also brought him a lot of recognition, winning the PFA Young Player of the Year award, as well as being on a six-man shortlist for the PFA Player of the Year award, later won by Cristiano Ronaldo. He also earned his place in the FIFPro World X1 for the 2007-2008 season. After the season, it was time to join Spain in an attempt to conquer Europe in 2008. The team reached the final and the Germans were waiting. The match was close, with neither team giving in, when in one moment, Javi Hernandez noticed Fernando Torres' run forward. He passed the through ball only for Torres to finish the chance and score the match-winning goal, giving the trophy to Spain as he kick-started one of the most successful national teams in history that would go on to win the 2010 World Cup as well as the 2012 Euro. The following season at the club arrived with a lot of expectations. However, constant smaller injuries occurred, stopping Fernando from fulfilling his full potential that season. He did manage to score 14 Premier League goals, totaling up to 17 in all competitions. The season after continued being shredded by injuries, with Torres playing only 22 Premier League matches. However, his talent was still too big, and he scored 18 league goals, adding 8 in the Europa League. At the end of the 2009-10 season, the club manager, Rafa Benitez, Torres' fellow Spaniard, and his favorite left the club. This left Torres deeply unsatisfied, especially when Roy Hodgson came to replace Benitez. Torres scored a couple of goals, including his 50th at Anfield in the 2010 and 11 season, as well as his last goal ever for the Reds in the 3-0 win against Wolverhampton. After 9 years of waiting, Roman Abramovich finally fulfilled his long-term wish. He brought Fernando Torres to Chelsea. It happened in a dramatic outcome as Torres signed the contract on the last day of the transfer window, with Abramovich even sending a helicopter for the Spaniard. And this is where it all went wrong. Similar to what happened at Atletico, the crowd wasn't the same, the stadium wasn't the same, and he was being seen as just one of the mercenaries who joined the club for profit, not for glory and winning trophies. Even though that wasn't true, Torres' injuries haunted him over and over ever since he joined the Blues. The first signs of trouble arrived as soon as he started playing for Chelsea. Torres scored the first goal for the Blues toward the end of April, 2 months after joining, which also ended his 903-minute drought without a goal scored. The first season ended infamously as he scored just a single goal in the campaign. However, everyone expected Torres to be back to his best when he got through the full preseason with his new club, but that wasn't the case. When the 2011-12 season arrived, Torres wasn't the same player. He lacked sharpness, quickness, speed, and wit on the ball that he used to have, leading him to score just 6 goals in 32 appearances in the Premier League. Perhaps the brightest moment came when he scored against Barcelona to confirm Chelsea's passage to the final, even though the match was basically over at that point. Chelsea won the Champions League with Torres doing little to help, having scored 3 Champions League in total. The 2012-13 wasn't much better. Torres recorded an infamous 11-hour goalless streak with Chelsea, thus marking his tragic fortunes with the Blues. Nothing was working for the Spaniard. The following season saw Jose Mourinho's arrival to Chelsea, meaning that Fernando Torres was basically out of the club. This materialized in 2014 when he joined AC Milan on a 2-year loan. However, the loan lasted less than 6 months when in December of 2014, Fernando Torres finally made the cut. He's going back to Atletico Madrid. The Golden Boy was back home and everything was right with the world again. The fans never forgot him, dreaming of Torres' return. 45,000 people showed up at the stadium that day to greet their lost son and fan favorite. Diego Simeone was running a revolution at the club, and it seemed Torres joined in just the right time because the club just won the league title the season before. Unlike when he left, Los Colchones were now ready to fight for all the biggest trophies. Torres mostly played off the bench, but the striker was happy with his role and the fact that he was back home, as he scored a total of 37 goals in his 4 comeback seasons with Atleti. Finally, on July 10, 2018, Fernando Torres said his final goodbye to Atletico Madrid because he departed from the club for his last big contract in Japan, where he signed for Sagan Tosu. Torres made a nice mark there, spending a year in Asia before playing his final match on August 23, 2018, against his big friends from Spain, André Iniesta and David Villa, who played for Vissel Kobe. Outside of the football pitch, Fernando Torres is a happy man. He met his current wife in 2001, and they remain together to this day, a rare fairy tale of a popular footballer staying loyal to his childhood love. They have 2 kids, Nora and Leo Torres, and in his free time, Fernando loves reading J.R.R. Tolkien. Fernando Torres ended his career as a legend. The reason behind his fail mostly goes to injuries, which constantly haunted him, and finally ended his career as a world-class striker when he joined Chelsea. However, with the round number of 200 career goals, a World Cup medal, 2 European Championship medals, Champions League trophy, and countless of individual recognitions, El Niño had a career to remember, and he's one of those players who achieved a lot but could have achieved even more. Even though Liverpool is living through some of their golden moments these days, no matter where you go or which Liverpool fans you ask, they'll always remember his days with the Reds with nostalgia and beautiful memories.